The Seattle Seahawks bounced back after a tough loss with a victory in Jacksonville in Week 6. Now they get to fly home and host the Houston Texans, who are coming off a bye. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we're going to break down this Week 7 matchup here and provide our predictions at the end. So be sure to stay tuned and leave a comment. Let us know who you think is going to win. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button. We're about 300 subscribers away from 8,000. Let's see if we can get there this week. And Ryan, good bounce back game for Seattle here. Jacksonville is definitely improving, and for them to go on the road after a tough home loss against Tampa Bay and just the way that game ended, just good overall bounce back victory. Really shut down the Jags running game and honestly kept that passing game in check. Got a little some fortunate plays like with Travis Hunter being offsides on that amazing Brian Thomas Jr. like long throw and catch for a touchdown. Would have been a touchdown, but in general though, you take that away, really held this Jacksonville Jaguars offense in check that had been playing really well over the past couple of weeks. And the offense is still looking good too. I have been impressed with the way Sam Darnold has run this offense. JSN is really developing. And I think this running game, if they can just keep on improving that offensive line just a little bit more, it is improved, but I think this running game can really come on. And that being said, speaking of poor offensive lines, Houston Texans coming off a bye. Now they had a dominant victory over the Baltimore Ravens, but that is like if this was college, that win wouldn't be impressive at all anymore with what's going on with the Ravens right now. But this Texans team, I think you mentioned this right before, so I'm not trying to steal your thunder. I want you to go into a lot of potential with the
Yeah.
talent on this Texans team. Great defense. Love what D'Amico Ryan's doing with this defense. But man, there's still some things that they really need to figure out. And I think it starts, as you've talked about, this offensive line.
Yeah. Well, it's starting off with this defense. Let's start off with a positive, and
Sure.
we'll do a little compliment sandwich here. So this defense is fantastic. One of the best pass rushing duos in the league, Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson.
Yeah.
Fantastic. This defensive line, one of the best against the run as well. Derek Stingley Jr., great young corner. They match up with anybody really well. They can handle a lot of different fronts and offensive looks and whatnot. So I really like this defense, and frankly, like you go look, that defense is what kept them in the Bucks game. And yeah, like they've been solid through the first 5 weeks of the season. This offensive line, though, I remember going back to that Tennessee game, and it's probably one of the worst offensive reps I've ever seen. So you have Jeffrey Simmons, the heart and soul of that Tennessee defensive front, the one guy you need to make sure that you block on every single play. And he's lined up in the A gap between the center and the right guard. And CJ Stroud snaps the ball. And I'm sure Texas fans have seen all of this. The center goes to the left and the right guard goes to the right, and nobody takes Jeffrey Simmons. So he just runs up the field and tackles CJ Stroud before he can hand the ball off to a running back on a run play. Like it is so abysmally bad. They're missing blatant assignments. And that's just the nature of the beast. I think when you turn over your total offense to a first-time coordinator, you get rid of Laramie Tunsil, one of the best left tackles in the league. You move on from Shaq Mason as well. Not saying that this offensive line was that great last year, but with that being said, it was much better than what you currently have. And I really hope that this bye week was well timed for this offensive line, because getting to the other side of the sandwich here, they have a lot of talent on offense. I think Nick Chubb has obviously not been what he was in Cleveland, but he's been a serviceable running back when he's been given space. You go look, Nico Collins is one of the best. I'll just say one of the best receivers in the league, but in terms of outside, like true X wide receivers, he's one of the best there. Jalen Knoll scored a touchdown in the Ravens game with the rookie. The other Iowa State rookie, Jaden Higgins, has been solid as well. And so I think, and then Dalton Schultz, the tight end, is another reliable pass catching option. So, I mean, I think you go look at this team, and if we were playing 7-on-7, this would be a Super Bowl contender. They just can't hang in the trenches on the offensive side of the ball right now. I think you go look at the Seattle Seahawks team. What do they do as good as anybody in the league? And that front seven is just so freaking talented, with Mike McDonald leading the way and just his creativity and creating simulated pressures and whatnot is fantastic. So I worry about the Texans in this matchup, not to give away my prediction too early, But I just think going into this matchup, Seattle has a clear advantage in the trenches.
Yeah, yeah. Which, well, on the defense,
On the defensive side of the ball, yes.
well, and so this is where I think the Texans have an avenue to win. Is if there has been an issue for the Seahawks team in the past, it's definitely improved over this year, but there are still some, I would say, just overall, just some weaknesses on the offensive line that I think they can be exploited. Now, that being said, I do like the tackles here for Seattle. Love Charles Cross and Abraham Lucas. I'm sorry, I'm confirming now just on the
Yeah.
depth chart here now. They're right tackle. Yeah, yeah. And so love that. I love the great Zabel pick. That's helped out a lot. I think maybe center and right guard could be improved on, especially Anthony Bradford. I think maybe that's an area that could be improved on. But I think it's going to be some fun tackles versus edge matchups here, and getting pressure on Sam Darnold is going to be key for this Texans team. But I think the biggest thing, though, is if the interior of this Seahawks offensive line can keep on improving and put up a good performance against this Texas defensive front seven, then I agree with you. I think it's going to be a tough game for Texans to win. But if the Texas front seven could come out, really disrupt the run game, really slow down Kenneth Walker, make the Seahawks one-dimensional, and have to rely on JSN, Cooper Kupp, Torrey Horton, which is a lot better than I think I initially had expected coming into the season. I think a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
outsiders of the Seahawks fan base, maybe even some of the Seahawks fan base in and of itself, like kind of maybe had some lower expectations on just how good this offense could be. But
Mhm.
like this offense can win games that way. Where it's all right, if we need Sam Darnold to throw for 300 yards, we can do that. Not our preferred way. We want to be much more balanced, but we can do that. And I think that's what this game is going to come down to. Is that the Seahawks offensive line can hold up. I don't think there's too much of a pathway for the Texans to win. And I say that because the Texans offensive line is not going to hold up against the Seahawks team. And on top of that, too, the Seahawks secondary is really good as well. That secondary that I really like. I know they have a couple guys that are hurt, but I think they can improve on that they still have a good foundation as well too, and some guys will be active for this game, but even too as well. I just think the Seahawks defense is going to really slow down this Texas offense, just because they're really good, but also the Texas offense is really struggling. So for me, I want to go with Seattle in this one here to win on Monday night. But if the Seahawks offensive line can hold up, I don't think it's going to be much of a contest. Now, if they struggle, that's where I think the Texans can have some opportunity to win here. Because if it's a super low scoring game, maybe the Texans can put a drive together late to take the lead.
Yeah, and that's where I'm also going to go with the Texans to kind of build off of your point. If this were last year, maybe I would pick differently. But if you go look at overall sacks allowed, the Seahawks are they're fifth with 7 sacks allowed in overall this season, and uh, they face some good pass rushes this year as well. Like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is the first one that comes to mind. Actually, Jacksonville has a good pass rush as well with Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines Allen. So. This offensive line, especially in pass protection, is much improved, and I think Seattle comes out of here with a win.
Yeah,
So
and I think then to counter that as well too, the Seahawks defense has 20 sacks on the season so far.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I just think overall the Seahawks are a better, more well-rounded team right now. Yeah, and I have some major concerns about the Texans. I think obviously they have the quarterback, they have the receiver, they have edge rushers and corners there, but that offensive line is an extreme inhibitor.
Yeah.
Yeah, inhibitor is the right word for this offense, and I think it'll rear its head in this matchup.
Yep.
So let's go ahead. Let's wrap it up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup. Will it be the Seattle Seahawks? Will it be the Houston Texans? And that we'll see you guys next time.